Welcome to the podcast. If you'd like to listen to an ad-free version of this episode and all of our episodes, then search True Crime Today Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts and press subscribe. That's our premium channel where all of our ad-free and advanced episodes live, all in one place. True Crime Today Premium Plus. Search it on Apple Podcasts and press subscribe. Even try it for 3 days free.
You're about to take a deep dive into one of the biggest true crime cases in the universe. Or, at least, on our part of the planet. From the Hidden Killers podcast and True Crime Today.
It was a moment that would forever change the landscape of hip-hop. The night of September 7th, 1996, when Tupac Shakur, the charismatic and controversial rapper, was gunned down in a drive-by shooting on the streets of Las Vegas. The attack, which occurred after a Mike Tyson fight at the MGM Grand, left Tupac fighting for his life in a hospital bed, where he would succumb to his injuries 6 days later. It was a murder that shocked the world, and more than 2 decades later, the mystery of who killed Tupac Shakur still haunts the music industry and the fans who idolized him. For years, many have speculated about who pulled the trigger, who ordered the hit, and what motivations lay behind one of the most infamous unsolved murders in history. But in recent months, the case has taken on a new life. Fresh allegations, old rumors, and renewed investigations have pushed one name back into the spotlight: Sean Diddy Combs. For some, the suggestion that Diddy might be connected to Tupac's murder seems far-fetched, almost impossible to believe. After all, Diddy is a cultural icon, a man who built an empire on the foundation of Bad Boy Records and helped define an era of hip-hop. But for others, the idea that Diddy may have played a role, whether directly or indirectly, in Tupac's death is not just plausible. It's a theory they've believed for years. At the heart of these accusations lies a tangled web of rivalries, misunderstandings, and, as some would claim, cold-blooded revenge. The origins of the alleged conflict trace back not to Las Vegas in 1996, but to New York City, 2 years earlier. In November 1994, Tupac was at Quad Studios in Times Square, recording music. It was there that he was shot 5 times in what was described as a robbery gone wrong. But from the start, Tupac was suspicious. He didn't believe that this was just a random act of violence. He believed it was a setup. And he believed Sean Diddy Combs and the notorious B.I.G., also known as Biggie Smalls, had something to do with it. Tupac's suspicions were fueled by what he saw as the strange reaction of those around him. At the time of the shooting, Diddy, Biggie, and a large entourage were at the same studio. But when Tupac, bleeding and injured, limped into the studio looking for help, no one approached him. "Nobody looked at me," he later recalled in a 1995 interview with Vibe magazine. Puffy was standing back too. I knew Puffy. He knew how much stuff I had done for Biggie before he came out. In Tupac's mind, the lack of concern shown by Diddy and his crew wasn't just indifference. It was evidence that they were involved. Whether it was true or not, Tupac became convinced that Diddy and Biggie were complicit in the attack, and from that moment on, a bitter feud between the two camps began to grow. Fast forward to 1996. By this time, the East Coast-West Coast rivalry in hip-hop was at its peak. Tupac, now aligned with Death Row Records and Suge Knight, was the face of the West Coast scene, while Diddy's Bad Boy Records reigned supreme on the East Coast. The tensions between these two forces had escalated into a war of words, with Tupac accusing Diddy and Biggie of betrayal in interviews and in his music. On tracks like Hit 'Em Up, Tupac didn't just go after his rivals with lyrical jabs. He went for the throat, making the feud deeply personal. And then, on that fateful night in Las Vegas, Tupac was shot once again. This time, the attack would prove fatal. Cheryl McCollum, a crime scene investigator who worked on Tupac's murder, has been vocal about her belief that there is more to the story than meets the eye. In a recent interview, McCollum stated that the roots of Tupac's murder can be traced back to the 1994 Quad Studios shooting. "This whole thing to me started in 1994, the first time Tupac is shot," she said. For McCollum, the fact that Tupac was shot while Diddy and his entourage were present, yet unharmed, raises significant questions. Sean Puffy Combs and his entourage of 40, unharmed, unthreatened, How does that make sense to anybody that one person is going to be robbed and not the other 40? It's a question that many have asked over the years. Why was Tupac targeted while others walked away unscathed? And why did no one in the studio seem concerned when Tupac, bloodied and beaten, made his way to them? For Tupac, the answers to those questions were clear. He believed that Diddy had orchestrated the attack, or at the very least knew about it. And that belief would shape the rest of his life, leading him down a path of increasing paranoia and conflict. Theories surrounding Diddy's involvement in Tupac's death have circulated for years, but they gained renewed attention with the arrest of Dwayne "Keffy D" Davis in 2023. Davis, a former gang member, was charged with Tupac's murder after years of speculation about his involvement. But it wasn't just Davis's role as an alleged accomplice that reignited interest in the case. It was what he claimed in a 2009 interview with Las Vegas police. In that interview, Davis suggested that Sean Diddy Combs had put out a $1 million hit on Tupac. According to Davis, Diddy was fearful of Tupac and Suge Knight's growing influence on the West Coast and saw them as a threat to his own success. To eliminate that threat, Davis claims, Diddy offered a substantial sum of money to have Tupac killed. It's a claim that Diddy has vehemently denied, calling it pure fiction and completely ridiculous. In a 2011 statement to LA Weekly, Diddy dismissed the allegations, stating, "This story is pure fiction and completely ridiculous." But despite his denials, the allegations have persisted. For Tupac's family, the arrest of Keffy D was a step toward justice, but it wasn't enough. They believe that there is more to the story and that Diddy's involvement in the events leading up to Tupac's death has yet to be fully investigated. In 2024, Tupac's family took a bold step by hiring high-profile attorney Alex Spiro to investigate the alleged ties between Diddy and Tupac's murder. Spiro, known for his work representing high-profile clients like Elon Musk and Megan Thee Stallion, has been tasked with uncovering the truth behind these long-standing rumors. The family's decision to pursue legal action against Diddy follows new revelations from people in Combs' past who have come forward with information. According to an insider, people from Diddy's past are coming forward and providing info. These individuals, some of whom were once close to Combs, have added fuel to the fire, leading Tupac's family to believe that Diddy's connection to the murder goes deeper than previously thought. While Diddy has never been formally charged in connection with Tupac's death, the allegations have continued to swirl. Cheryl McCollum, who has followed the case closely, believes that Diddy's wealth and influence have allowed him to evade scrutiny. Both scenes, though, ironically don't have video footage, she pointed out, referring to both the 1994 and 1996 shootings. To me, this signifies somebody close to him knows his whereabouts on that day, that time, and that location. That, to me, shrinks your suspect pool pretty good. It's a theory that has captured the attention of many, particularly in the wake of Biggie Small's own unsolved murder just months after Tupac's death. Biggie, who was gunned down in Los Angeles in March 1997, has long been rumored to be a casualty of the same feud that claimed Tupac's life. Some believe that Biggie's murder was a retaliatory act for Tupac's death, further deepening the tragic legacy of the East Coast-West Coast rivalry. In the years since, both murders have remained shrouded in mystery, with no one held accountable for either killing. The deaths of Tupac and Biggie, two of the most influential figures in hip-hop history, have left a gaping hole in the music world and a trail of unanswered questions. And while Diddy has always maintained his innocence, the rumors surrounding his involvement have refused to fade. Even other rappers have weighed in on the controversy. In 2018, Marshall Eminem Mathers reignited speculation with his song Kill Shot, in which he rapped, "Kells, the day you put out a hits, the day Diddy admits that he put the hit out that got Pac killed." While Eminem later claimed the line was just a diss aimed at fellow rapper Machine Gun Kelly, it nonetheless added to the growing belief that Diddy was involved in some way. More recently, Eminem addressed the controversy again in his 2024 track Fuel, where he seemingly linked Biggie's murder to Tupac's, rapping Notorious B.I.G.'s death was the domino effects of Tupac's murder. Like facial tissue. Whose clock should I clean next? Puffs? Till he's in police handcuffs, guilty, will he step up? It's a sentiment shared by many in the hip-hop community who feel that justice has yet to be served. And with Diddy now facing his own legal troubles, federal charges of sex trafficking, rape, and racketeering, the scrutiny surrounding his past has only intensified. For some, these new charges, coupled with the ongoing investigation into Tupac's murder, paint a troubling picture of a man who may have used his wealth and power to avoid accountability for years. As the investigation into Tupac's murder continues, the question remains, will the truth about who killed Tupac Shakur finally come to light? For Tupac's family, the answer can't come soon enough. They've waited nearly 3 decades for justice. And now, with new information coming to light and an aggressive legal team on their side, they believe they're closer than ever to uncovering the truth. In the end, whether or not Diddy is ultimately connected to Tupac's murder remains to be seen. But one thing is clear. The legacy of Tupac Shakur and the mystery surrounding his death will continue to captivate the world until the case is finally solved.
In a world where the darkest secrets lie just beneath the surface,
They said it was an accident, but the evidence says otherwise.
where hidden killers roam unnoticed in the shadows.
I think you would definitely be looking at a blend of toxic, very bad narcissistic personality traits, and they will be vengeful and possibly resort to violence.
Join Tony Bruschi as he uncovers the truth behind the most chilling cases.
They said it was an accident, but the evidence clearly says otherwise.
Each episode, we dig deep into the minds of those who commit the unthinkable.
To your point on narcissism, he thinks in his own mind how witty he is.
Yeah.
But he lost that jury. I was done with him in 2 minutes.
From unsolved mysteries to infamous crimes.
Geez, you've just talked about how you've taught yourself how to do everything under the sun. I bet you did a YouTube video, how to best kill somebody with a knife.
Hidden Killers with Tony Bruschi takes you where few dare to go.
How does someone with such a dark secret go unnoticed for so long?
With multiple new episodes every single day.
We're not just telling stories, we're seeking justice.
Listen now on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. Just search for Hidden Killers with Tony Bruschi.